Okay, good day everyone. The purpose of this video recording is to follow up all the misses natin in terms of our discussion. So, nag-stop po tayo based on our topic. We have the circumstantial evidence and the associative evidence. So, dyan tayo magsa-start. So, based on this topic, we have page 29. Pag sinabi natin, it's a page 43 po. Pag sinabi natin circumstantial evidence, magiging keyword ninyo dito is all about the facts or circumstances. So, ibig sabihin po ng circumstantial is that it is a kind of evidence, it's a proof based on facts or situation that suggests someone committed a crime, even if no one directly saw it happen. So, ano po ibig sabihin? It relies on something clues like a motive. It can be an intent, opportunity to connect the suspect to a certain crime being committed. Then, pag sinabi naman po nating associative, sabi dito, it is a physical evidence which may identify the criminal by means of clues, personal properties, characteristics. So, ibig sabihin, associative, it is a physical clue. O, tandaan nyo po ang physical clue. When you say physical, it can be found in a crime scene po. Then, that connects a suspect to a crime. Like, ano mga example natin dito? We have the fingerprints, weapons, yung mga naiwan na damit ng suspect sa crime scene. Then, yung mga ganitong kind of evidences will help investigators identify who committed the crime for further follow-up and for further examination in terms of our instrumentation. Okay, next, based on our topic, we have the page 47. We have the the modus operandi, which is 45 pala on the page of our PPT. So, sabi dito, when you say modus, it is the method of operation by specific criminal or criminal syndicate. Keyword nyo po dito, method. Pag sinabi po natin method, it is all about a certain trademark that a certain person uses it. When you say uses it every time they commit a crime. Kumbaga nagiging habit nila ang ganitong way of committing a crime. So, in order for us to elaborate, pag sinabi additionally, for example, isang magnanakaw, okay, pumapasok siya always gamit ang bintana. So, it means yung paggamit niya always sa bintana as the entry in terms of committing a crime is the one example of a modus operandi. Kumbaga, halimbawa, pag a certain person is identified using, halimbawa, si Ma'am Desoyo, I'm a criminal, a wanted, of that kind of modus, then wanted pa ako. If that certain crime happened in the community, it can be possibly mas mapapadali yung pag-identify ng mga police officer. It is because I'm the one who is only using that kind of modus, like using the entry of using a window inside a house. So, kumbaga, ito yung magiging trademark that represent on how am I going to commit a certain crime. In short, it is a trademark. The concept na, kumbaga, sinusunod mo always para sa pag-commit na crime. Okay, next we have the phase 2 of our investigation, which is we're going to locate the suspect. Based dito, makakatulong po ang surveillance on locating a suspect. So, ibig sabihin po ng surveillance, based on the definition given, it is all about a secret or discreet, clandestine observation of a person. Okay, tandaan niyo po, person, it can be a place or either a certain vehicle for the purpose of obtaining information concerning to the identities or activities of a certain subject that which is related to the crime we are being investigated. So, pag sinabi po natin secret, patago po yun natin na ginagawa, discreet, clandestine. Kumbaga, hindi natin inaalaw na that other certain person will know based on our objectives that we are gathering information. Kaya sinabi siyang surveillance. Okay, next, we have the types of surveillance. We have number 1, tailing, 2, casing, 3, undercover. So, madiscuss natin yan later on. But we are going to proceed on the surveillance. Pag sinabi po natin surveillance, it is referring to a person. Tandaan nyo, surveillant and surveillance is different. So, surveillant with letter T is referring to the person who maintains the surveillance or siya yung talagang naga-perform on how she or he is going to observe a certain subject. Next, we have, ito na, ang subject. Pag sinabi natin subject, it is referring to the person na target mo, na gusto mong kunan ng information. Kung hindi man siya person, it can be a place. Okay, kung hindi man place, pwedeng mga gamit like vehicle, certain vehicles na under siya sa inyong investigation. Okay, next we have the page 48 on your PPT, considerations in surveillance planning. So we have the pre-surveillance conference. Sabi dito, a conference held among the team members, the police intelligence unit before surveillance. Keyword yun po dito, pag sinabi natin pre, hindi pa ginagawa yung surveillance. Kumbaga, pre-surveillance conference, from the word conference, nagtitipon-tipon yung mga yung mag-conduct ng surveillance para ano? What is the purpose? Okay? Pagplanuhan. Okay? Advanced thinking, kumbaga, aalamin nila ang mga certain information, additional information na need nilang malaman before sila sasabak doon sa surveillance na gagawin nila or sa observation na gagawin. Kasi naman, pag mag-proceed ka doon for a certain observation or surveillance without knowing your subject really based on his or her background, is para ka na rin pumapasok sa isang gera na wala kang laban. Okay? Next, sabi dito, we have the surveillance plan. A plan established. Okay, from the word plan, dapat nating pagplanuhan. Sino ba ang the best natin i-assign dito? It is referring to the person. Sino ba ang magiging backup ng tao na yan? Yung magkakandak ng surveillance. Okay? Ano ba yung need niya na mga gamit? Okay? Kailangan ba niyang mag-undercover or pwedeng natural lang na as a police officer, ganun, naka-uniform habang nag-observe? Or need talaga ng mga further, sila ng identity nila, itago? So, part po yan ng pagkakaroon ng surveillance plan. Next, we have the area target study. Before we proceed on conducting a surveillance, we need to study the area first. Alangan naman, papasok ka din doon, hindi mo alam ang pasikot-sikot, hindi mo na alam, tinambangan ka na pala. Okay? Because you are observing a certain person na hindi mo sure ang safety mo. That is why, need nating pag-aralan yung area which is supposed to be what? Okay? Kung saan pupunta yung subject natin, saan siya dadaan. Okay? Yun mga example ng mga area target natin. Bahay niya. Okay? Compound ng bahay niya. Next, surveillant. Okay? Binalik lang, a person who conducts surveillance. Next, stakeout or plant is the observation of places or areas from a fixed point. Keyword, it is same, certain observation, stakeout or plant. From the word plant, stay lang ka dira. Dira lang ka magstay. Kumbaga, fix ang imuhang position, but still you are observing a certain subject based on your investigation. Next, we have the tailing or shadowing. It is the observation of a person's movement. Yung kanina, plan, fixed point tayo, hindi tayo aalis, pero still we are observing. Pero dito naman sa tailing, from the word tailing, sumusunod ka na. Mura na kag-ikog dito sa imuhang subject. Shadowing. Pag sinabi natin shadow, yung shadow natin sumusunod sa atin, di ba? Every time kung saan tayo pupunta. The same as investigating. Sumusunod ka na. Kung saan man siya pupunta, uwi man siya ng bahay niya, pupunta man ng mall. Okay? Next, we have the undercover man. It refers to a person trained to observe and penetrate certain organization suspect. Okay, from the word undercover man, person. Keyword yun dito, person trained to observe. O siya, pag sinabi natin penetrate, papasok na talaga sa lungga ng mga certain person na subject ng kanilang investigation. Sometimes, from the word undercover, nag-undercover. Kumbaga, mo na in short, ginatawag natin ng mga intel. Kumbaga, gina-involve na nila ang sarili nila nga magsulod dito sa mga criminal activities in order for them to gain certain information which is helpful to the certain investigation they are investigating. Next, page 49, we have the liaison program. The assignment of trained intelligence personnel to other agencies. From the word liaison, kumbaga lias. Okay? Siya yung kumbagang runner ng isang surveillance team. Bakit? Anong ginagawa niya? Okay, need ko ng information. Kuha mo doon sa something, sa isang kumpanya. Like, kunin mo yung information niya doon sa land bank. Okay? Siya yung magiging runner. Kumbaga siya yung kukuha ng information. Ikaw na naka-assign for that certain subject ay hindi na ikaw mismo na ikaw pa yung pupunta sa agency na yon. Okay? Need mo, halimbawa, for example, yung subject mo, nag-aaral dito sa Ramon. Ngayon, hindi ka na makapunta dito sa Ramon because your subject is, kumbaga, hindi dito sa Ramon pumunta. Okay, si Liaison is the one or the person who's going to obtain information na dito sa Ramon Magsaysay, which is based on our example. Next, we have the safe house. From the word safe house, a building or a place enclosed mobile or apartment where police undercover men meet for debriefing or reporting purposes. Okay? Ito yung, kumbaga, bahay kung saan sila pupunta or uuwi after nila na mag-conduct ng surveillance. Sinabing safe house. Ito na yung, kumbaga, compound nila na uuwian. From the word debriefing, pag sinabi ng debriefing, magkakandak na naman sila ng certain plan. Based on my experience today, wala akong nakuhang information based sa subject na pinag-aaralan ko. So, ano yung gagawin natin? So, ngayon, pag sinabing debriefing, kumbaga magko-collaborate sila in terms of their ideas on how they are going to succeed on that certain objectives na dapat makakuha sila ng information based sa pag-follow sa subject na yun. Next, we have drop. Any person in a convenient, secure, and expecting place where police undercover men meet his action. Yung safe house kanina, yun na talaga yung pinagstayhan nila. Pag sinabi nating drop, parang ito yung, kumbaga, decoy. Kumbaga, hindi ka uuwi directly sa bahay mo, which is yung main mo, which is the safe house. Meron kayong drop. Halimbawa, unnecessary or mga urgency na need nyo mag-meet ng ka-team mo sa surveillance team. Ngayon, doon kayo sa fixed na drop point ninyo. Drop, doon na kayo magkikita. For example, ang drop point nyo, 7-Eleven. For example lang ito, ha. So, doon kayo makikita, act normal, but still, you are having a conversation based on your surveillance plan. Okay? Next, we have here the convoy. An accomplice or associate of the subject used to avoid or elude surveillance. Convoy, it is referring to the convoy of a subject, not to, hindi po siya convoy ng, hindi po siya convoy ng nag-observe. Convoy po siya ng mismong subject. Kasi sabi dito, used to avoid or elude surveillance. Okay. Accomplice nga siya eh. When you say accomplice, kasama ng inuobserbahan. Ngayon, naobserbahan na burnout ka na pala. Ngayon, magtatawag ka ng certain kasama, okay, i-distract mo siya para makatakas ako, para wala silang makuhang information sa akin. Sabi din dito, additional definition, a cover supporting to surveillance who become a convoy whenever surveillance is burned. Para siyang double purpose. It can be on the side of the subject. It can be the side on the surveillance team. Okay? It is because pwede din mag-convoy yung surveillance. Halimbawa, pag ako yung nag-observe, ako yung intel, na-burnout na ako, meron akong certain person na nag-support sa akin na pag na-burnout ako, ikaw yung mag-proceed sa objectives na meron tayo. Okay? So, parang continuous pa rin yung plano ninyo based on the surveillance you are conducting. Next, we have the number 50 on your PPT. We have the contact. Any person whom the subject picks or deals with while he is under observation and identifies the observer. Ang ibig sabihin po ng contact, halimbawa, ako yung subject. Kayo ang surveillance team. Ngayon, meron akong kinausap na tao, ka-meet up. Yung mga kinausap ko ay ang example ng contact. Kasi sabi dito, subject picks or deals while I am under observation. Kumbaga, may mga connection yun. Maybe they can help certain information. So, ang tawag po sa kanila ay contact. Kasi ano ba, nag-contact sila sa akin, which is I am a subject of a certain surveillance team. Next, we have made. When subject under a surveillance become aware. Pag sinabing made, kumbaga another word ng burnout, nalaman na ako yung nagasunod sa'yo. Burnout na, naalaman yung identity ko. Next, we have lost. When the surveillance does not know the whereabouts of his subject or the subject had eluded the surveillance. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, yung nawala ka mismo. Ako ang nag-observe dahil sa katangahan ko sometimes, or hindi man sa katangahan, kumbaga, na ano ka lang talaga, nalamangan ka ng subject mo. Pag sinabi natin loss, wala na akong contact. Hindi ko na sila kayang sundan. Okay? Okay, next we have the page 51 on your PPT. We have the tailing or shadowing. Okay, nakalagay dito, we have the loose tail. This is used when the shadower would like to know the general impression of the subject, habit, and associate. So, ano nga ba yung loose tail? Okay, pag sinabi natin loose tail, kumbaga you are not, hindi mo gina-maintain na dapat fina-follow mo yung subject mo. Kumbaga para lang siyang occasional, para nakadepende na lang sa'yo kung kailan mo siya gusto sundan. Hindi siya usually. Kaya sinabi natin loose, medyo maluwag ka as ay surveillant. Okay, hindi ka masyadong strict. Kumbaga kung kailan ka lang available, yun ang pag-follow mo sa kanya. Next, we have the rough tail. This could be done even without special precautions since the subject is aware that he is being followed. Okay, based dito, okay, rough tail, mahirap. Kasi parang mahirap siya na part. It is because aware ang subject na he is being followed or she is being followed by someone. So, sinabi siyang without special precaution, walang pag-iingat. Merong mga ganito, kumbaga, pinapaalam din nila na parang under sila sa observation based on the surveillance team. So, nakadepende yan sa plano nila. Next, we have the closed tail. Close. From the word close, kung kanina loose, maluwag, then close. This is done with much precaution. Pag-iingat from losing the subject where constant observation is necessary. Okay? Constant observation is necessary. So, sabi dito, ito yung pangmalapitan na observation. Pagka nakasunod ko ba, example, ako yung subject, sinusundan nyo ako, halimbawa papasok ko sa faculty, kumbaga, susundan nyo din ako sa faculty pero hindi kayo magpapahalata na inoobserbahan nyo ako, pwede kayo maupo. Next, halimbawa, pag pupunta ako sa, example, sa 7-Eleven, pupunta ako dun, kakain, punta din kayo dun, at the same time, kakain, inoobserbahan nyo yung mga bawat galaw ko, close tail. Kumbaga, mahigpitan talaga na surveillance sa isang subject. Okay, next we have the methods of shadowing. Letter A, we have one-man shadow. From the word one-man, okay, wag ko nang basahin yung definition. Pag sinabi na one-man, ito yung subject, ito yung investigator, okay? Isang tao ang inoobserbahan, isang tao din ang susunod, ang kukuha ng information. One-man shadow, yun lamang po. Next, we have letter B, two-man shadow. Two agents are employed to follow the subject. Ngayon, ito yung subject, nag-iisa. Ngayon, merong assigned na dalawang investigator or dalawang surveillant person na susunod sa kanya. Okay, yun lang. Napakasimple lang. Next, letter C, three-man surveillance or ABC method. Reduce the risk of losing the subject upwards greater A. Okay, kumbaga, sinasabi lang dito, isa, dalawa, tatlo ang susunod sa subject. Okay, sabi, pag isa, medyo maluwag kasi pag halimbawa wala ng support. Dito sa number 3, marami kang support. Kumbaga pag yung isa na mislook niya lang, nalingat, okay, meron pang isa na nakatingin. Okay, we have letter D, progressive leapfrog method. From the word frog, yung ginagawa ng frog, nakaganito, tatalo niya sila, alternate. Kumbaga, the same din ito ng method of shadowing. This is used attempting to locate the hideout of the subject from a vantage point without moving after the subject. The following day, the shadower agent takes up a watch from the point at which the subject was last seen. Poor chances of obtaining good results. Okay, definition. So, ano nga ba si leapfrog? Kumbaga, halimbawa, paano ba natin i-explain nyo? Kasi yung leapfrog, kung gawagad pa ganun. Okay, subject nag-stop sa Ramon Magsaysay. Okay? So, merong nag-stay din dito kasama niya sa Ramon Magsaysay. Merong mag-observe sa kanya. At the same time, meron nang mag-a-advance. Okay? Kumbaga, ginapredict na nila kung saan susunod yung yung subject nila, kung saan sila pupunta. Kumbaga, leapfrog, may tatalo na sa advance point. Okay? At the same time, doon sa pinanggalingan ng subject, before siya dito napunta sa Ramon, meron ding doong magstay. Okay? Kasi meron pa yung pwedeng mapagkunan ng information. So, paano yun? Ngayon, parang alternate. Ngayon, ikaw yung naka-assign dito sa mismong target mo. Ngayon, dahil umalis na siya, doon na siya sa advance point, eto naman ang pupunta dito sa inalisan niya, doon na naman ikaw sa magsunod sa kanya, din yung another one is doon mag-a-advance. Kumbaga, para lang siyang alternate. Okay, ikaw naman sunod, ikaw naman advance means dito observe, okay? Yun ang point pag natin. Pag progressive, from the word progressive, continuous. Pag sinabi natin leapfrog, para siyang alternate a way of observing a person. Next, we have letter E, combined foot auto surveillance. Simple lang, combined foot and auto, pwede kang maglakad, then pwede ka ding sasakay ng iyong gamit ang iyong vehicle. Okay? So next we have the casing or reconnaissance. Based on the definition, a surveillance of building, place, or area to determine its suitability and vulnerability in operation. Pag sinabi natin casing, anong pormas ang casing? Pag means natin sa cellphone, we have the casing, para kumbaga pa-box. The same pag nag-conduct tayo ng casing for a certain investigation, sabi dito place ha, walang tao po dito. Hindi po kinikasing ang tao, lugar lamang po. So halimbawa, ang target na lugar mo is yung 7-Eleven ng Balmores. So ang gagawin natin, magagawa tayo ng casing. So paano ang casing? Ang ano po ng 7-Eleven, papalibutan mo yan. Lahat ng nakapalibot na establishment dyan sa 7-Eleven, dapat alamin mo ang bawat ruta, aalamin mo kung saan ka dadaan, aalamin mo kung sino yung mga taong nakapalibot dyan. Then at the same time, aalamin mo din, halimbawa dito na side, sa harap ng 7-Eleven, we have the green oil, may nakatutok na CCTV dyan. So pwede yung CCTV makakatulong, so may alam ka na. Doon sa likuran na part, bahay ni, for example, ng isang tao, nakita mo na may CCTV sila. Kumbaga, advance point mo na yun. Kumbaga, napag-aralan mo na ang bawat exit and entry na place which is the 7-Eleven sa Balmores. Bakit necessary yun? It is because, halimbawa, ngayon kung hindi ka naging successful doon sa pag-observe mo, for example, inside the 7-Eleven, ngayon nakatakas. Pwede mong balikan ngayon dahil na-casing mo na yung lugar. Pwede mong balikan, okay, alam ko may CCTV. Pwede ko nang tingnan kung saan siya napunta dito sa Balmores na green oil na may nakaharap. Okay, nakita mo ngayon dun sa CCTV nila. Lumabas pala siya. Then pumunta sa kabilang kanto. So kahit nawala ka, na mislook mo siya, nalingat ka sa kanya, may chance ka pa na pwede mo siyang i-follow ulit. Okay? Okay, mag-add on ako sa next end muna natin. Okay. Okay, another purpose of having a casing is that para ito siyang pre-planning. Bakit? Papasok ka sa isang lugar, kumbaga for example, isang lugar, bahay, na kumbaga parang balwarte na nila, doon sila nag-meet up, yung mga criminal activities, doon sila nag-meet. Then, papasok ka sa isang lugar na hindi mo alam ang surroundings, then it is a very negative outcome. So that is why casing is being conducted. Before mo yun papasukin, before ka mag-undercover, before ka mag-surveillance, you need to know everything, what is the surrounding of that certain building, para hindi ka blind. Okay, alamin mo talaga ang pasikot-sikot. Okay, next we have here method of casing. We have personal reconnaissance. Pag sinabi nating personal, the most effective method and will produce the most info since you know just what you're looking for. At ikaw mismo na magkakandak ng casing, alam mo na kung anong information ang kukunin mo, which is from the word personal. Meron ka ng information, galing na sa'yo, ikaw na yung nakakaalam. Next, we have the map reconnaissance. From the word map, ibabase mo ngayon ang casing mo doon sa sufficient enough na pwedeng i-provide ng mapa. Okay? Map reconnaissance. Next, we have research. Much info can be acquired through research. Okay? Personal, your own knowledge sa mapa, Google Map, and another one is research, further research. Okay, ano yung mga certain ilang building yung nandito nakapalibot sa lugar na pwede kong puntahan. Okay, i-search mo para malaman mo. Next, we have prior information. Pag sinabi po nating prior information, your unit and the unit will have file report that he may provide you with info. Para lang itong known. Kumbaga, yung mga existing kasama mo, body mo, teammate mo, may alam na sila for that certain, kumbaga, na-casing na yan nila before. So, pwede kang mag-ask ng mga idea sa kanila ng information which can help further provide certain information that will help your casing. Kasi iba yung case nila dati, iba din yung sa'yo, pero the same ang building. Pwede yun. Next, we have hearsay. Info usually gained by the person operating in the area performing casing job. Okay, so paano yun? Info usually gained by the person operating in the area and performing. Kumbaga yung makakakalap mo na information ng mga pila ka tao ang ara din nakapuyo. Mabalaan mo ng mga pangalan nila. Okay, yung mga sinasabi ng bawat tao na yun is pa-consider pa natin na hearsay because hindi pa yan natin alam kung totoo yun or hindi. So, need pa natin siya i-follow up or certain further investigation if tama yung na-provide. Kasi tinawag na hearsay. Next, we have the page 55 on your PPT. We have the observation and description. Differentiate lang natin kung observation and description. Observation is a complete and accurate observation by individuals of his surroundings and encompasses the use of all major senses. So, simple as that. Paano ka mag-observe? Gagamitin mo yung 5 senses na meron ka. Okay? Next, to register and recognize para alamin kung ano yung mga possible mong makukuhang information based on your objectives for a certain investigation. Next, we have description. The actual and factual reporting of one's observation of the reported sensory experience recounted by another. So, anong isipin ng description? You are describing based on your observation, using your 5 senses, you are now going to describe how you are going to regulate the information, how you are going to absorb. Paano siya ngayon i-describe? Okay? So, dapat, in terms of describing, sana clear din the way you describe. It is because, pag ikaw a certain intelligence ka, surveillant ka, you cannot able to describe a simple way of happening that you observe on a certain situation based doon sa lugar na obserbahan mo, then it is a very negative aspect of yours. It is because it can cause confusions to a certain person, halimbawa sa authority, higher authority mo. So ngayon, magkakaroon ng conflict in terms of the understanding. So dapat, the way we describe is a very very understandable and very clear and concise. Next, sabi dito, facts lamang po. Psychologists estimate that approximately 85% lahat ng tao, ano ang ginagamit in terms of gathering information is through what sight. Okay? Mata, observation. Kahit hindi ka nga magsalita, hindi ka magtanong, tingnan mo lang, pwede kang makakuha ng information. Then, 85% po yun. Next, we have hearing. 13%. Lahat ng naririnig natin, lahat yan nakaka-absorb tayo ng information. Kaya, 13%. And the 2, through the other 3 senses. So, ano ang iba na? Yung touch. We have the touch, the smell, and the taste. So, kumbaga, madalang na lang natin gamitin yun in terms of, pag kumakain tayo, nakakakuha tayo ng information, yes, masarap yung pagkain. Okay? Pag makaamoy tayo, okay, mabango yung tao. Pero in terms of, in relation to the investigation, parang never pa ako nakakita ng isang investigator or isang surveillant na didilaan yung subject para makakuha siya ng information. It is a very negative naman for that certain person to conduct. Okay? Next, we have here the according to the intensity and sensitivity. Okay? Parang binalik lang kanina. Discrete. Subject is unaware that he is under the observation. Yun lang, simple. Close. Subject is aware that he is under observation. Yun, explain na natin kanina. Close. Sa sobraan mo kadikit, nahalata ka na, napahalata ka sa imo nga subject. Next, we have loose. Applied frequently. Ito na yung sabi ko kanina lang, casual lang. Kung saan ka maka-time. Casual mo lang siyang sinusundan. Kaya loose, medyo maluwang ka. Pag sinabi natin medyo maluwang, wala kang pinapakitang effort, sometimes nawawala. Okay, pero iba na yung point pag sa relationship. Next, we have, according to the methods, A, stationary, fixed point. Ito na, pag sinabi natin stationary, nakastay ka lang, dira ka lang sa iya, or dira ka lang sa certain position. Halimbawa, diri ko sa 3rd floor karon sa Ramon. Diri lang ko magstay sa Krimla, but at the same time, I'm still observing. So, paano yun? Pwede ako maggamit ng mga binoculars, okay, yung mga ultra lens na camera, i-zoom ko, kasi nandun siya sa ibaba. Kahit hindi ako umaalis dito sa 3rd floor, still I am observing that person. Okay, sabi dito sa under the stationary, we have the stakeout surveillance. Used when you know a suspect that a person is at or will come to known location. When you suspect that stolen goods are dropped and the informants have told you that a crime is going to be committed. Okay, na-discuss natin, we have the stakeout surveillance, pang drop point. Okay, next we have B, moving. Subject is followed from place to place. It can be a combination of foot and automobile. Ito yung kanina. Moving, literal lang siya na gumagalaw ka, sinusundan mo. Next, we have technical. Uses communication and electronic hardware, gadget systems, and equipment. So, paano nangyayari yung ganitong aspect in terms of following certain suspect? You are using video cameras, okay, pwede. We have audio recording, and at the same time, yung mga GPS tracking, yung nakita natin nga sa video, yung sa ibang bansa, they can able to detect your movement through the signal of your cell phone. So, ito yung sabi nating technical. Meron ng involvement of advanced technology that we have in the present day. Okay? I hope you understand. Okay, let's proceed to the next topic. We have the... Okay, next na lang muna natin. Stop natin ang video. Okay, next, we are going to proceed on page... Wait. Okay, procurement. Page 61. Discuss natin yan. It is the aggressive effort to acquire certain and specific information that may not be readily available. Procurement. Kumukuha ka ng information, need siya ng aggressive effort, beyond ang effort in order for you to acquire. Kasi it is because yung information na yun is not available pa. Kumbaga, need mo siya i-cultivate pa para something you can able to obtain. Next, we have mga something procuring agent. When I say procuring agent, it is referring to a person. Okay? Number one, we have agent and place. Has been recruited by an intelligence service within highly sensitive target. So what does it mean? Agent and place has been recruited by an intelligence service within highly sensitive target. Kumbaga, there is a certain individual who is coming from a certain group of a criminal. Kumbaga, na-recruit siya to provide or to give his or her intelligence service. Okay, pwedeng yung mga balik loob natin, mga criminals, nagbalik loob. Example, yung NPA nga, pwede nating matawag yun na agent and place. It is because, pag nagbalik loob sila, pwede silang gamitin. Okay? Hindi ipapaalam na na-burn out, nag-surrender, pababalikin ngayon sa kampo ng mga NPA. Example lang po ito ha. Then, yung pagbalik niya doon, hindi na pala in the terms of purpose na loyal pa siya sa kanilang organization. Ang ginagawa niya na pala is that he or she is having or obtaining something information that pag nakalabas siya ng buhay, if she or he can, pwede niyang i-provide doon sa mga investigator na makakatulong sa investigation. Okay, next, number 2, we have the double agent. An enemy agent who has been captured, turned around, and sent back where he came from as an agent of his captors. Example, ako yung grupo ng enemy. Nagkakanta kami ng criminal activities. Nahuli yung kasama ko. Pero yung kasama ko, inutusan ko din na maging agent doon sa mga investigator. Pero ang mali lang is nahuli. Ngayon, matatawag siyang double if yung mga investigator, ibabalik nila sa akin yung tao ko, which is under a certain objectives na pala na kami, grupo namin, ang uobserbahan. Kumbaga, naging ano na siya ba? Tawag doon? Parang naunay, kumbaga yung ginatawag natin nga naunay kasi sarili mo nga ang ginambal natin nga ginsugo. Kumbaga gisugo mo na dakpan, wala kakabalo, pagbalik gali sa imo, naging double agent which is under the direction na pala siya ng mga investigator tas kumukuha na. Para siyang agent and place, but ang meaning lang po ng double agent is the purpose. Kaya tinawag siyang double kasi my first purpose before, which is galing siya sa amin as an enemy or the criminal group, inutusan ko na maging agent din sa doon pero nahuli. Ngayon, babalik yung inutusan ko pero at the same time under the direction of a certain investigator na kami na pala yung oobserbahan. Okay? Kami na ang kukunan ng information. Next, we have the expendable agent. An agent through who false information is leaked in the enemy. So, paano ito? Itinawag siya na expendable. Magaling sa mga salita to, magaling sa mga magdala ng tao, mapapaniwala ka talaga, kaya expendable. An agent through whom false information is leaked in the enemy. Okay, balikan natin yung sinabi ko na expendable agent. From the word expendable, ito yung mga magaling mag-disguise, magaling sa salita, magaling magdala ng tao, mapaniwala ka talaga, parang lalaki. Okay, pero charot. Next, we have expendable, an agent through whom false information is leaked in the enemy. Papunta sa enemy yung na-leak ang information, papunta sa enemy. Kumbaga gagamitin niya papunta sa enemy, i-provide niya papunta sa mga criminal group. Kumbaga, yung double agent natin kanina, it can be, pwede siyang maging expendable if pwede niyang i-leak yung information na under observation pala siya or under instruction by a certain investigator. Ngayon, punta siya sa grupo ko. Kami kasi, di ba ang criminal activity, criminal group. Ayun, under instruction ako. Kumbaga, gilik niya ang information. Pero, anong pinagkaiba? Which is, whom false information is leaked. So, ano ang pwede? Tama ba yung example na naibigay ni ma'am? Kasi false information eh. So, kumbaga, iba. Hindi siya aamin. Kumbaga, false information. Basin ako, pagdudahan kita, uy, bumalik ka dito sa akin. So, anong nakuha mo na information? Ganito, bibigay siya ngayon, okay, ang nakuha ako po doon na information, sir, is ganito, ganyan, ganito, ganyan. Pero, ang totoo, under observation. Pero, ang gilik niya na information, padulong sa amon nga grupo, which is the enemy, is not true anymore. Kasi bakit? Under the instruction na pala siya na double agent na siya. Kumbaga, para itong process na napasunod-sunod eh. Agent in place, then ang purpose, double agent, nahuli ka, bumalik ka ngayon. Then expendable, when you say expendable, it is all about the content on how you are going to deliver. Paano mo rarasunan? Okay, paano ka magrason karon kay nakasulod ka balik dito sa enemy? Okay, mag-provide ka ng false information. Next, we have the penetration agent. An agent who has reached the enemy gets information and would manage to get back alive. Oh, pagkatapos mo sa expendable, karon napapati mo sa imo false information, penetration, pag ginatawag na nga penetration, you are successful, nakapasok ka, nasulod mo gid tanan, nasulod mo tanan nga criminal group. For example, nakakuha ka gid sa information. So, ang ibig sabihin, ngayon nakakuha ng information, nakalabas ka. Nakabalik ka ngayon sa mga investigator, then nakaprovide ka ng certain valuable information, then penetrated. Okay, penetrated from doon na pasukan mo talaga, successful. Next, we have 5, agent of influence, an agent who uses influence to gain information. Pag sinabi nating influence, ito yung mga maraming connection. Kumbaga, ginagamit nila yung connection nila through gaining or obtaining information. Yung kumbaga, halimbawa, sikat ka, marami kang kilalang tao, influence yan. Then, you can gain. Mas madali kang mapagkatiwalaan pag ganyan yung standing mo sa or status mo sa community. So, madali kang makakuha ng information. Then, agent provocation. Wag na natin idagdag si agent provocation. It is because it is not included on our examination. Next, parang nabalik lang, we have the phase 3, gather and provide evidence to establish the guilt of the accused. Phase 3, tandaan nyo lamang po, ito na yung time na-identify na natin sa phase 2. Ngayon, we are going to collect further evidence, which is, ano nga mga evidence? We have physical evidence. Ito yung mga nakikita natin sa crime scene kasi sabi dito, any object found at the crime scene. Next, we have the testimonial evidence. Ito yung mga testimony coming from the victim, the witness, it can be coming from the relatives. Lahat ng mga information, testimony. Okay, sinabi, either it is interview or interrogation, lahat na nasabi through testimony. Next, we have documentary evidence. May sinabi natin na discuss natin before, mga documents involved. It can be your IDs, mga identity that can help link a certain person. Ano pa? Mga logbook records nila, pumasok sila dito sa school. This is an example of documentary evidence. Pwede din yung sa digital footprint nila. When say digital, yung mga conversation. It is an example of documentary. Next, physical evidence to identify criminals. We have corpus delicti. It is the body of the crime or fact of specific clues or injury sustained. It constitutes to the essential parts or elements in the commission of the crime. Pag sinabi po natin body of the crime, huwag niyo pong sabihin or intindihin na parang it is literally na it is a body of the victim. No, it's not. Pag sinabi natin body, we are going to consider the crime scene as the body. Pag sinabi natin body, it is the foundation. Bakit naging foundation? Kasi doon ka makakakuha ng mga maraming ebidensya na pwede mong gamitin whether to conclude that certain person na na-identify natin sa phase 2 is what? Guilty or not guilty. Next, we have here the associative evidence. Associative evidence, these are the pieces of evidence. Okay, na-discuss na natin kanina. Keyword, will link the suspect to the crime scene. Okay, mga example natin, we have the fingerprints, shoe impression, blood stains na naiwan sa damit. It can be na naiwan din sa crime scene. Yun ang pwede mag-link. It is because, pag sinabi tayo ng link, after you use instrumentation, analysis, kumbaga, using the science, we can able to identify a certain person. Sino may-ari ng fingerprint? Sino may-ari ng shoe or foot impression? Sino may-ari ng blood stain na yun? It can be sa victim or galing sa suspect. Next, pag sinabi natin tracing evidence, article which assists the investigator in locating the criminal. Okay, tracing evidence. Sabi dito, assist the investigator. Kumbaga, how you are going to follow up a certain investigation based on the video we have presented yesterday, is that paano sila nagkakaroon ng tracing evidence. Okay, through surveillance, nagamit nila, naging tracing nila yon, yung mga record based on the vehicle, plate number, a record based on the registration of the gun, binili pala ni Colin. Okay, that is an example. Then, yung gun pala yun, na link, ibinigay niya pala as a gift doon sa girlfriend niya, then naging tracing yun, okay, evidence. Then yung bullet na nakita sa crime scene is connected sa binigay na gun ni Colin, kaya siya natawag na evidence, tracing evidence. Kumbaga, it is a pieces of puzzle that we may able to come up after you, kumbaga mapag-isa yung mga tracing evidence. You can able to conclude or you can able to come up a certain conclusion na okay, we finally can prove that certain person is guilty or not. Next. Okay, that's the last part of the topic that we are going to tackle on midterm na pasok sa inyong midterm examination. So I hope you are going to give time to listen the discussion. Para wala tayong sisihan, I took my part as an instructor para mabigay yung mga lapses, mga misses ko na mga discussion para wala kayong masabi sa akin at the end of the time na nagbigay lang ako ng exam without discussing it. So thank you for your time. God bless and see you around.